We are live. We good, Franco? Yes, seems like we're good. Tayyip. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Ad Lib Podcast. Today is episode number 62. So 62. We're picking up the numbers. Franco, what do you think?
Yep. Let's go for the 100, and
For the 100,
also
yeah.
getting back to inviting some directors. Hopefully, we get some big names. It's nothing. So I can only say one because we're going to review her movie, and the other person, hopefully, touch wood. Is there any wood here? Yes, there's lots of wood. Touch wood. We get him on because he's very interesting. He's a very interesting director.
Most definitely.
Otherwise, how's been you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Especially-
a very busy week, very busy week. So
Especially after Inter's win yesterday, like 4-0.
4-0, big win, always great.
and
Always
Mil-
great
and
against
Milan,
Lecce.
Milan doing not so good. Milan won
Yeah.
at the end, though.
They got a draw 1-1 against Atalanta. Juventus won with a goal at
At,
the very end.
at the very, very end. But that's Juventus for
Very
you.
end. Yeah, so this year
Any-
they're surviving with the final, the goals in the final minutes, basically.
So far, no Juve. I think no. Once we mentioned Juve, no one is watching. So any Juve.
LP, how's it going, Franco?
Okay. Managed to watch loads of movies, funnily enough. But I want to get to watch some old stuff. There I have Conan the Barbarian, and I have quite a couple of movies that I'd like to watch. But yeah, I watched around 4 movies in total. I think,
Nice.
yeah, 4 movies in total. So it's quite good.
Nice.
Um,
Shall we get right into it then, Franco? Since we have
Bella, but
this many movies to talk about.
I have a very important question for you, which is, what is the Ad Lib podcast all about?
Good question. So the Ad Lib Podcast is all about movies, all about series, all about video games. This week we've actually got quite a bit of video game stuff to talk about. But obviously lots of movie and series stuff as well. First of all, obviously, as always, we're going to be talking about what we've been up to. We've got some movies and series to talk about there. Then we get into the trailers. With regard to the trailers, we'll start off with the trailer for the DLC for Elden Ring, which was Game of the Year last year. So DLC for Elden Ring is very exciting news. After that, we've got a trailer for Borderlands, talking about video games, in fact. We've got a trailer for Cate Blanchett's Borderlands, directed by Eli Roth. Interesting there. The Spiderwick Chronicles. Apparently, there's going to be a series. You know what I think about that? Question marks? We'll discuss that.
I have thoughts.
Yeah, me too. Then, very promising is Bill Skarsgård's Boy Kills World, which I have thoughts as well about that and seems very, very interesting. And just an hour or two ago, we had the trailer for Horizon, an American Saga release, which is basically has been known amongst Americans as the reason why Kevin Costner quit Yellowstone, which obviously in America, Yellowstone is a big deal, especially amongst conservatives. So yeah, so that'll be interesting as well to look at the trailer for that. Then we've got the news. First of all, we're going to go through this really quickly, but I found this interesting. We've got Game of Thrones bosses, confirmed film trilogy ending got blocked, and apparently XX at AT&T went up to the creators of Game of Thrones, asking them to shoot vertically so episodes could fit on phones. What the fuck? Now we'll get into it later on. But
What?
that blew my mind. Downton Abbey season 7 may be on the way. We've got news about that, and I know fans of Downton Abbey like myself. I'm a massive Downton Abbey fan. We'll be excited for that. And SAG Awards 2024. We'll skim through those. Promise, I've had enough of awards at this point now. We're just waiting for the Oscars, but we'll just have a quick look at the winners at the SAG Awards. Then with regard to reviews, I've got a review for Memory, starring Jessica Chastain. Both of us have the review for The Zone of Interest, directed by Jonathan Glazer. Franco has a review for Tiger Stripes. I've got a review for Avatar The Last Airbender. And what else do you have, Franco?
20 days in Mariupol and Lovely, Dark and Deep.
All right. Lovely, dark and deep. Wow, okay, that's the title.
Yeah, it's quite a mouthful. And by the way, guys watching us, tell us what you have been up to, and tell us if we missed any news as well. Like break the news to us, and leave us a like and talk to us. We don't bite.
Definitely,
we're very friendly. Only where we took our margins, but very friendly.
Definitely. So let's get right into it. Franco, Mela, your week. What have you been up to? What have you been watching?
Working. Currently reading this book, if you can see it. No, so it's called
Crying in
H Mart by a singer, or I think she's the lead singer and guitarist of a band called Japanese Breakfast. Very interesting. It's giving me some nostalgia as well, because it mentions lots and lots of Korean food. And now I want some kimchi. I really miss eating kimchi. I'm not joking. People who like kimchi in the chat, please let us know. And then, like I said, made my homework today. So watched Zone of Interest. 20 Days in Mariupol. That is a succession. This is the only joke that I will do, because both of them really deal with heavy themes. But don't watch them after each other, because it was like, I was like, oh my god, I want to curl up and go to sleep, because they were quite an experience. And then I saw a very interesting Malaysian horror called Tiger Stripes, and this is the first news. We sent an email, so hopefully we get the director on, because it's very interesting. Usually I like to find some hidden gems in the most unusual of places, like Indonesian horror. I think if there was an Indonesian horror that I particularly liked, by the same director of Satan's Slaves, which is another movie that I want to watch, Satan's Slaves. And then I saw, Malaysian horror, what's this all about? And I was pleasantly surprised. And then Lovely, Dark and Deep, I have opinions, but we'll keep that for later on. I'm sorry, I don't do series as much as Andrea does. My brother actually watched Avatar The Last Airbender. I don't know if he binged it. What about you? What did you do?
Yes, I basically binged it. Binged the whole 8 episodes this weekend. It was interesting. I'll give my thoughts later on, obviously, about that. Anything else, Franco? You want to get into?
That's it so far. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna watch a movie after here, or just continue with. I have Joe as a cat right now, but he's sleeping. By the way, hello Joe from Joe is in Andorra. I think he's busy with the Six Nations Rugby Cup.
Definitely. Hello Joe, we miss you. So in my case,
I don't.
I watched. Oh my love. In my case, I watched a few movies. What did I watch this week? I watched Zone of Interest and Memory, which I'll be reviewing. Howl's Moving Castle. So yesterday I was at my family's house, and we're like, oh, what are we going to watch? Going through Disney Plus and Amazon, and then I'm on Netflix, and I see, oh, Netflix have Studio Ghibli movies. Great, let's watch a Studio Ghibli movie. Let's watch Howl's Moving Castle. And it's, as always, obviously, it's a fantastic movie, fantastic soundtrack. The themes are great. It's, I'm actually wondering, because I had this discussion with Bruce a few weeks ago, which is the best Studio Ghibli, whether it's Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle. And I'm questioning whether it's, because for me, it's always been Spirited Away. I've always been a Spirited Away fan. I've always been like, that's their number one by far. But now that I've rewatched Howl's Moving Castle again, I'm questioning. I think I need to rewatch Spirited Away now to see which one takes the crown. Because House Moving Castle is such a beautiful relationship develops out of it.
It's in the name, moving.
Yeah, it is definitely moving. It's definitely moving. Yeah. Did you when did you watch it, Franco? House Moving Castle?
Hot take. I'm not. I've heard so much about Ghibli that I'm like, okay, I'll watch it when I want to watch it. As far as I remember, I saw. I think is it Nausicaa with the bugs, the bugs that are friendly, if I'm not mistaken.
Which one, Franco?
Nausicaa, if I'm not mistaken, with the bugs, with the big blue bugs.
Could be. Yeah.
I watched Spirited Away. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. And that's it. You've watched? Is it House of the Fireflies?
Yes. I talked about it a few weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
Oh, that one is heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. That's one of the toughest watches, to be honest, of any movie you can think of.
I think I'm more of a fan of the guy who did, I think, Suzume, Your Name.
Yeah, Suzume, I watched. I liked Suzume. The animation was beautiful. The storyline, not too convinced, to be honest.
You watched Your Name as well, right?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, Your Name is really good. Your Name is really, really good. To be fair, I actually want to check out Devilman Crybaby.
Devilman Crybaby. I haven't watched that either.
And it has I really like the ending theme song of that series. I haven't watched the series, but I know about the theme song because it's by a DJ I follow. Hasn't been releasing too much stuff. If I'm not mistaken, Takyu Ishino, and
Right.
it's a very interesting electronic piece. And yeah, if you see, we lost a viewer because I said something against Studio Ghibli. No, today it's Juve fans and Studio Ghibli fans gonna cancel us.
No, but I mean, this House Moving Castle is just a fantastic movie. I think that's it with regard to movies this week. I haven't watched too many movies, but I watched a lot of series.
Mononoke, Princess Mononoke, I watched as well.
That's beautiful. I love that one as well. Then with regard to series, I've got a lot of series, so let's get into them. First off, obviously, I completed Avatar The Last Airbender, not the anime. I haven't watched the anime, so that will be a notice before I get into the review. But I have watched the Netflix live-action adaptation, and I have thoughts about that. I completed True Detective Season 4. Let me bring that up.
Interesting. Andrea is now
Season 4.
You have to repeat that because we lost you for a bit there. We lost you for a bit.
Really? Oh shit. Okay,
yes.
So just gonna say that I watched season 4 of True Detective, and I have thoughts. I'm not completely convinced. So as a series, production design, like the visuals, beautifully shot, beautiful locations, that stuff is not up for discussion in my opinion. But just the whole murder mystery, the way it was written, the way it develops, the characters, there's something off with the writing. There was something off with the writing in season 4. I really can't put my finger on it. It's like just looking at season 1 and how powerful season 1 was, whether it was in the performances, whether it was in the teams, whether in everything. It's just such a fascinating season. And to be fair, if I'm going to be comparing season 4 of True Detective to season 1, it's like I'm comparing like any football team with Real Madrid or City right now. It's just like there's leagues between them, right? And it's not fair to compare them either, because season 1 is just a flash in the pan, and everything came together to create one of the best seasons of television ever. Having said that, however, I will still say that I'm not 100% convinced by the murder mystery element of it all. So True Detective, I enjoyed. I'm not disappointed. I watched it, but still, I think it could have been much, much, much better done, especially in the writing for the characters and the dialogue, in the way the murder mystery developed. That part and the way it was solved at the end just felt a little way. Like, I'm not convinced 100%. So I enjoyed it. And looking forward to season 5. Obviously, now they announced that there's going to be a season 5 with Isa Lopez working on it as well. So I'm happy about that. Have you heard the drama, Franco, about Nick Pizzolatto?
Yeah. He's definitely not a fan of this series. Apparently.
Yeah. Interesting. He was sharing stories, right, of reviews. The majority of the reviews were like, either I think we were too harsh on season 2 of True Detective after seeing this abomination. And many criticizing the writing, as I did. And I agree, some of the writing is off. Although, to be fair, I don't think it's as bad as many people are saying. I think many people are upset because the movie has very, very clear feminist themes inserted into it, and I think that has put off quite a few people. So I think that is the reason why many people are very upset with it. At the same time, however, I will agree that I also was not 100% convinced by season 4 of True Detective. If I had to give it a rating, I think I would sit somewhere around a 3 out of 5. If I had to give it a full rating for the whole season, with episode 5 being by far the best episode. Episode 5 was amazing. Episode 6, not convinced completely. Another series I completed this week was Monsieur Spade, which I very much enjoyed. Overall, I've had a great time watching Monsieur Spade. Like I've said many times these past few weeks, it's been a great watch, great dialogue, great writing. The cinematography has been fantastic throughout. Beautiful settings. It's all around really great series. I hope it gets some attention at the Emmys next year, because unfortunately it just has not caught any traction at all. And I mean, not really a spoiler, but there's an appearance of Viola Davis as well near the end, in the final 10-15 minutes of the final episode. She comes in and blows the whole story with quite an important guest appearance, to be honest. Very significant guest appearance. So overall, I'm pleased, very pleased. I got to watch this series. It's a great one, great watch. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for a good kind of like, I don't know how to, it's like a detective mystery show. Also a period piece, of course. This is definitely one you should check out. And I hope more people talk about Monsieur Spade. A great seasonal performance by Clive Owen. Fantastic in the role. And then moving on to the other episodes I watched. So I watched another episode of Monsters of the Air.
By the way,
Michael.
I wish I looked like Clive Owen when I turned 60 years old, or at least George Clooney, because he's still holding his ground, Clive Owen.
Definitely, most definitely.
And it's good to see him back on in some work, because he's underrated as an actor.
Yes, yes, very much so.
Like right now, maybe he's past his prime, but my father always wanted him to be James Bond. But
Clive Owen, I don't know what happened to Clive Owen. It's like he had the early 2000s where he was really hot actor, and like everyone wanted Clive Owen. And then somewhere past the mid 2000s, it's like his moment of fame just was forgotten. And then into the 2010s, like everyone forgot about Clive Owen. I don't know what happened to him. Even in the roles he was given, if you look at the roles he was given early 2000s, like I remember, it wasn't a very good movie, but I think it was decent in it. King Arthur, he had that King Arthur movie.
No, I remember him in Shoot 'Em Up.
Yes. He had a lot of action movies, in fact.
Yes.
What was the one where there was a movie where he had this scene? He was dating some I don't forgot who, and they were in bed, and suddenly they attacked them in bed, and they were in bed, and then they jumped down, and he was shooting both his pistols.
Shoot 'em up.
Let's shoot 'em up. Oh shit!
Yeah,
All right,
shoot
that's the
'em up.
one. Well, yeah. That's a great scene. That's such a great scene.
Yeah,
He was the talk of the town, to be honest, back then.
that's a movie where I'm like, okay, switch off and just enjoy the ride. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
like which movie was like that? Oof, with Jason Statham, there were two
Ooh,
where he has to.
pretty much every Jason Statham is a switch
No,
off your brain and enjoy it kind of movie, right?
no, but do you remember? I forgot if it's called Crush, but it was about he has to get an adrenaline rush.
Oh, no,
Crank,
no.
crank,
Crank,
crank.
crank, that's one.
Yes, crank
Where he has
one,
to get
crank
an
two.
adrenaline rush. If he doesn't, he dies, basically. His
Yep,
heart stops.
exactly.
I watched this one. Oh my God, the scene in the car where he asks, "What was it her, Eve, to give him a blowjob just so he
Yes,
could
yes, yeah.
so he wouldn't die?" Oh my God. This movie was crazy. It's actually very entertaining, though. It's a really entertaining
Yes,
movie, though.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Crank. I mean, it's every Jason Statham movie is pretty much switch off your brain, but have a good time.
And about
Um,
Masters of the Air, do you have
yes.
to switch off your brain?
No, not really. I think Masters of the Air is a well-written, well-produced show. Hasn't disappointed me so far. I was a bit iffy at the start. I was a bit not iffy. I wouldn't say iffy, but I was a bit like, I'm not sure if I'm 100% in it as much as I was for Band of Brothers. And again, just like with True Detective, it's very unfair to compare a series with Band of Brothers. But I think Masters of the Air, whilst not being as good as Band of Brothers and not being as good as The Pacific, I think it's still a very, very, very strong series. Will probably be one of my favorite series of the year at the end of this year. And great performances at the center of it all. I think the visuals have been spectacular. Very strong character-centric episode. This one, it's like they're taking a action episode, like where an episode would cover one of the campaigns they would have, attacking either Munster, for example, last week, and this week was a more character-based, more focused around character development episode. And I think this episode 6, I think we're now on episode 6, yeah, was a pretty solid one. One series I was really excited to talk about was Halo. So anyone who's watched this show will know that I was very much disappointed with Halo Season 1. Now, Halo Season 2, however, for anyone who's watched the past few weeks, I've been much, much more pleased with. And as I hinted at last week, by the way, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched Halo Episode 3, Season 2, Episode 3, and Episode 4. So, spoilers there. We finally reached the fall of Reach. Now, I have good and bad stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail because I'll obviously give the final review when this season ends. But I'm quite pleased about what we got from the fall of Reach. I'm still a little disappointed with some elements, especially the fact that it does feel a little small scale for the fall of Reach, knowing how massive Reach should be. You should have massive battalions of troops fighting with the Covenant. This is very small scale. You've got individual skirmishes mostly shown. That's obviously budget issues. However, I'm pleased to see that the storyline involving Quam has been completely shelved, mostly still involved somehow, but mostly shelved. And overall, I was quite pleased with this episode of Halo. Hopefully we get more action in the next episode, because once the action slows down and we start going into the storylines involving different characters who we really don't care about at all in the Halo universe, it just loses me, and I know it loses a lot of people. So overall, pleased with what we got from Halo this season so far. Keep it up. I'm really worried, however, that Master Chief is going to remain without his suit for the coming episodes. That's really worrying me. So I hope they somehow solve that issue. So that is Halo. And that's pretty much my week. Oh, and I played Last Epoch, or at least tried to play it, but we'll get into that in the review. So
Okay.
that's it with regard to our weeks. Viewers and listeners in the chat, let us know in the comment section below what you have been watching and playing in the past week. We'd love to know that. And with that, Franco, I think it's time to get into our first trailer of the week. And I'm really excited to talk about this one. I don't know, Franco, I don't know if you're going to have too much to say about this, but we've got the DLC for Elden Ring to talk about.
This is not pre-watched. I've heard about this, but I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay, to be honest, I think we can actually play the trailer for Elden Ring. I don't think we should have any trouble
No, it's fine.
with
It's
that.
fine. From
So let me play
software,
it.
from software are quite okay. This is from. This is from.
Yes, from software. Exactly.
Okay.
So let's get into it. A gameplay reveal trailer for a heavily anticipated expansion to Elden Ring has arrived, and it suggests that more of the big bosses, cryptic but epic scale storytelling, and brutal combat fans have come to expect will be available in the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. The downloadable content arrives June 21st, 2024, and costs $40 with pre-orders now available. So, obviously, anything dealing with From Software, man, this lighting, Franco, is so beautiful, so beautiful. But anything involving From Software, I'm sorry, I never get the lore, I never get the storyline, but thank you to Vatividya for giving us the lore. Vatividya is this YouTuber, basically, Franco, who gives all the Dark Souls and Elden Ring lore, basically. He gives you 40-minute videos explaining all the different
The lore,
lore
okay.
in the From Software games. And from what I've understood so far, basically, this DLC is going to focus on the land of Shadow, which is going to be a prequel setting to the main Elden Ring game. Potentially, this seems to be the case, inside a deity's dreams. And this deity is most probably going to be Miquella, who, for people who play the game, that is Malenia's twin brother, which obviously will have lots of people excited, keeping in mind the boss fight we had with Malenia, one of the most iconic boss fights in Elden Ring, and one of the toughest as well, man. That boss fight made me swear so much.
just the boss fight, because apparently this is like.
Oh no, the whole game made me swear. But the Malenia boss fight, whoo, boy, that was a tough one. By the way, Keith coming in with a comment. Hey guys, checked out my annual appointment viewing of Drive to Survive for the start of the new Formula One season.
True.
Haven't started it yet, Keith. Have to get into it. This week.
Apparently still holding up, according to my father, who's a Formula One petrol head, basically, and it's saying it's holding up. Yeah. Speaking of Elden Ring, I genuinely I dig graphics and the monster designs. How do they come up with them?
Oh man, they're so creative, so creative. It's just incredible.
I think
how creative they are.
Part of the challenge is not to stop looking at the monsters and keep fighting.
Yes. Yeah, there have been situations, Franco, where I'm in a boss fight and I'm just so amazed by what's going on screen. Kind of like, oh my God, this is so beautiful, and the music is amazing. Where I'm just like, oh, this is amazing, and I just place my controller there and just let the boss defeat. It's amazing stuff. So basically, this DLC is going to focus a lot on the backstory of Miquella, like I said, Malenia's twin brother, the forming of the Elden Ring world as a whole, which will be fascinating to watch. It's interesting to see at the start of the trailer, we see the Erdtree. I forgot the name. The Erdtree, right? Now, the Erdtree is, of course, one of the most important images we see. Where was the Erdtree? Here we go. The Erdtree is obviously one of the most important images we saw throughout most of Elden Ring. But apparently, this is not the Erdtree we saw in the original game. But this is apparently a precursor to the Erdtree, right? So I think this is going to be another very important element of the DLC. With regard to gameplay, as we saw throughout the trailer, there's going to be apparently a new crossbow, which will be exciting for people who love bows and crossbows. Elden Ring wasn't really a game you could enjoy too much because crossbows and bows were pretty weak, to be honest, in it. Obviously, new spells throughout. We saw many different spells, and for people who love spells, Elden Ring was definitely a fun game because Many spells were very broken in Elden Ring. And obviously, new weapons as well. And like you mentioned, Franco, lots of different crazy looking creatures like this. Oh my God, this guy. I know he's going to make me swear a lot. There's a part of this when I see bosses that look this fast and who, spout smoke at you, I know I'm going to swear. This looks insane. This boss fight is going to be crazy. I love lightning based bosses. This one, oh my Lord, this looks amazing. So honestly, the bosses in this look just fantastic. Such creative creature and character design. I'm super hyped to play this, but I'm also very worried.
You know what I know? You know what
Go
I
ahead.
notice in these games? That the graphics glitch here and there, but there's so many details that you don't notice, especially with the fur and the cloth and the
Yes,
line.
yes,
But
agreed.
it's funny. It's funny that yeah, I mean even in the gameplay, as you see, there's they're a bit rough around the edges. But
Definitely.
apparently, I think it's not how good the graphics look. Suicide Squad, killed Justice League, but it's the gameplay and the story.
This
Apparently,
looks amazing. This, oh, beautiful. Even just the setting, because that's
yeah,
the thing, right, Franco? It's not about, even if you look at Dark Souls and Bloodborne, they're all a little rough around the edges, if I had to put it that way. But just the creativity of the settings and
and
the
the
boss
scope.
fights.
The scope is huge. Like there is a certain sense of dread in these games. Even just watching gameplay again as a non
Mhm,
gamer, I do
mhm.
appreciate the scope in there.
Definitely. So
Enjoy
very
it in
excited for
Samba,
this.
Andrea.
Yes, June cannot come soon enough. I'm really looking forward to this one. Moving on, talking about gaming, I'm excited for the Elden Ring DLC. I'm a little less excited for this. Borderlands. Cate Blanchett blows shit up in first Borderlands trailer. So we got the trailer for Borderlands, and for those of us familiar with the story of Borderlands, it's almost belief defying to think that we're about to see it on screen. But sure enough, here we are. Eli Roth's adaptation of the acclaimed video game has just released its first trailer, and it looks as bonkers as one might believe, perhaps even more so. Adapted from the widely acclaimed video game series bearing the same title, Borderlands features an impressive cast including Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, Edgar Ramirez, and Ariana Greenblatt, amongst others. The plot centers on Lilith, portrayed by Blanchett, a notorious renegade with a mysterious background. She returns to her home planet, Pandora, in pursuit of the vanished daughter of the movie's villain, Atlas, played by Ramirez. Along her journey, Lilith unites with a motley crew of allies. That's Roland, a top-tier mercenary, Tiny Tina, a young demolitions expert, Tanis, an offbeat scientist, and the robot Claptrap, known for his sharp wit. This eclectic group bands together to help find the missing girl, forming an unexpected coalition. So, Franco, directed by Eli Roth, Borderlands, you've seen the trailer. What do you think?
Listen, we mentioned Suicide Squad, so it's definitely taking a page out of that. Ela, listen, the cast is also stacked. The director, after watching Thanksgiving, I think it's an interesting route he's taking. Um, uh, I don't know, but it felt kind of. What did you feel? Did you feel that there was something slightly off about it?
Yep, definitely something of. I have a lot of thoughts, Franco, on this. I'm a little worried about this one. I was excited when I heard some of the names involved, but now that I see the actual people on the screen, I'm very worried. I'm very worried about this. So, um,
It's
first of
it's
all, there's
it's a
lots of things
it's
to say.
it's a CGI fest. No wonder. I mean, but because
Listen, it's
Joe said,
Borderlands. It has to be a CGI fest. There's no way you're doing
but
this.
Joe said something interesting. Like they could have taken the Mad Max route. Both making it a CGI fest without making it look like a CGI
But
fest.
Borderlands is much more fantastical than Mad Max, for example. So you've got those
Mm,
elements to talk about. I'm going to be honest. Now I think about about it, the whole issue stems from the fact that Borderlands is not a franchise that should be turned into a movie in the first place, in my opinion. Because the whole point of Borderlands, if you watch the trailers for the video games, is you've got thousands of different guns and you blow shit up. That's it. The storyline, nobody cares about the storyline. The characters are mostly awkward and annoying. Claptrap, for example, I don't care what anyone says. Claptrap is fucking annoying. I don't care what anyone says. He's lovable, but super annoying, which I hope Jack Black can bring out of it. And then now I'm going to talk about the casting in a bit. Now, there's some issues with this movie, Franco. I don't know if you heard about the reshoots. They had quite a few reshoots.
I saw the article, actually. The article there that Eli Roth actually came in for the reshoots. No?
Yes. So, no, apparently Eli Roth took care of most of the movie. Once they did the reshoots, Eli Roth was not available. I think he was working on Thanksgiving back then. Mm-hmm. And then Tim Miller was brought in to take care of the reshoots. Tim Miller, obviously, that's very promising as well, right? He's a great director.
Yeah.
I don't know what to take out of that. They say they're standard reshoots, but there were a lot of reshoots, so I don't know how standard they were.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the whole Craig Mason of it all, because Franco, apparently Craig Mason was involved in the writing of this movie.
Ooh,
but apparently Craig Mason's script was, which is, according to rumors, described as being one of the best scripts in all of Hollywood. These are rumors. I don't know how true that is. But Craig Mason's script was described as being one of the best scripts in Hollywood. But once Lionsgate hired Eli Roth to direct it, apparently Mason went from being the sole writer of the script to being a co-writer with Eli Roth, and eventually not involved with the script at all. And apparently Eli Roth demanded that his name be taken off the movie completely.
Ooh.
Which has me worried, because Craig Mason is a great writer, and the fact that he doesn't want to be at all attached with this movie has me worried, and me very much worried. Now, that's the off-screen drama.
Wait, Craig Mason's demanded his name to be removed.
Exactly.
Okay.
He wanted his name completely removed.
I mean, it's not his script after all, you know. I mean,
yeah. So that's a little worrying. Now, from what I saw from the trailer, I'm sorry, but I have to say this, but the casting is completely off. My biggest worry from the whole cast is Kevin Hart, because he's portraying Roland, who should be this massive, buff character, physically overbearing, who just looking at him, you'll be like, oh my God, this guy's going to grab me and slaughter me. He should be this like mercenary, and looking at Kevin Hart, I'm sorry, I see anything but a soldier. I see anything but a soldier. I'm not intimidated by Kevin Hart. Seeing Cate Blanchett look down on Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart is also quite short, that's an issue, right? That's an issue with the character. Also, Roland is quite a, he's the kind of character with the deep voice, tough, intimidating, and just I don't get that vibe from Kevin Hart. So that's a worry. Cate Blanchett. Lilith is quite young. Now, Cate Blanchett, she's stunning. She's a great actress. So I'm not going to get into the whole Cate Blanchett of it all, because I love Cate Blanchett. She's a great actress. But again, I'm not 100% convinced with the casting there. I think I would have gone with someone much younger. I
was going to say switch Cate Blanchett with Ana de Armas and Kevin Hart with John Cena.
Yeah. Maybe not John Cena. Someone who's black for Roland, because that's
okay. I mean, Lallo. The guy from Evil, he's very well built. And who was Luke Cage?
Oh, Luke Cage. Yes, that's perfect casting. Luke Cage. I forgot the name of the actor. Luke Cage. That was Mike Colter. He would be great in that. Mahershala Ali would be great in this role as well.
Mahershala Ali is not that well built.
But I think he's doing Blade now, no? So
Blade is شو اسمه delayed delayed until further notice. Not the guy who played Mateen.
Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Yes.
That's also very good casting. Then Claptrap. Oh boy, Claptrap. Now I know there was a lot of drama with the voice actor who did Claptrap, even in the video games. This is drama with the video games, nothing to do with the movie. But I would have loved if they went for the voice actor of Claptrap, because it's voice acting after all. Does it really need to be Jack Black doing this? I just don't get Claptrap vibes in this. I really don't. So that's another issue. And just the worry that this has been in production now for 9 years, Franco. 9 years in production. On and off. So I'm very much worried about this one. I'm just afraid that Borderlands simply does not translate into a good movie. And that's just my thoughts about this. Don't know if you want to add anything, Franco, to that.
No, you put me up to speed with the lore of Borderlands, because I'm seeing it with totally fresh eyes. I didn't play the games, but yeah, Lilith, like the Lilith one, you're right, because I saw the game trailer and the film trailer is like it. Cate Blanchett is quite an interesting casting choice. Again, nothing against Cate Blanchett; she's stunning, and like you said. Again, but maybe they want to try to get people who are not gamers. It doesn't seem like it's a movie aimed for the gamers of Borderlands.
No, this is clearly made for people who love Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I think that's quite clear.
It's a Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy mishmash. So,
which is a pity, because Borderlands has a lot of personality. The video games have a lot of personality, so much personality.
But that's I mean. Let's not go because we're gonna continue discussing this. I mean, this is what studios are aiming for. And I think it's the latest. It's either John Wick. Granted, that's a good segue for the next trailer, most probably. It's either John Wick or a ragtag team of mercenaries. That's all, you know.
And Franco, I'll use that as a very, very, very good segue to our next trailer, starring the amazing and very buff Bill Skarsgård, who is out for vengeance in new Boy Kills World. Trailer premiering in April. Back when Boy Kills World producer Simon Schwartz stated that the movie had the potential to be a worldwide hit and, oh boy, Franco, you're not going to like this, potential franchise property, he wasn't kidding. Today,
okay.
No, don't die. Today, the first trailer for the movie was finally released, and now we can see where Schwartz's excitement was stemming from. The dystopian action thriller centers around Boy, a deaf and mute victim of a post-apocalyptic dynasty that kills his family. As the title suggests, Boy enters a roaring rampage of revenge to avenge his family and get some peace of mind. The movie hits theaters in just a couple of months on April 26th. So, Franco, you've seen the trailer for Boy Kills World. What do you think?
I said this again. It's something more akin to John Wick. Maybe more violent though, because it seems like it's going to be quite bloody and going also into the the black humor territory. It seems action packed. Granted, Bill Skarsgård again, it's a home run. He's a bankable actor. I'm also liking some of the costume designs from K. Jensen. Speaking of X-Men. This for me is a wait and see. There's apparently a bit of a riff on reality shows as well.
It seems like it. Definitely.
Is this based on a book or something, or is it an original?
Haven't seen anything about it being adapted. To be honest. I have a feeling it's completely original.
Mm.
I hope
No,
it is, to be honest. We need
mm,
original stuff.
we need original stuff. We just don't need franchises.
Oh, no, no franchises.
You know, we need more original stuff. The action seems quite gnarly, and there's also this guy. Oh, I forgot. I saw him in The Raid. Have you ever seen The Raid?
No, I have not. Oh, that's one
Oh
I've
my!
been meaning to watch so
I,
many times, man.
I still haven't watched the sequel, but The Raid, the first Raid Redemption. Oh my god, the action, gnarly but breathtaking. It's like
Yes, yes, yes.
Indonesian
Did
movie again, another
I
Indonesian movie.
recently saw it come up on Twitter. The raid walked so John Wick could run, basically.
True, true. That guy would make a good director for John Wick. The
Mhm,
the director of the Raid.
mhm. This one looks interesting, Franco. I'm very interested in this one. I think there's a nice little mix of humor and action here. It feels very meta, its approach. Yeah, obviously, like you said, Skarsgård, he looks great in the role, as he always does, to be honest. Bill Skarsgård, can always count on him. Produced by Sam Raimi, which is, I think, where the humor element comes from. The
Mm.
whole humorous element comes from, which is very interesting.
There's also
Overall,
Barbarian as well, like
yes, 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 yes. Yeah, the script apparently, Franco, is co-written by Tyler Burton Smith. Now, Tyler Burton Smith comes actually from the video game world. He's done the story for stuff like Sleeping Dogs and Joe's favorite game, Alan Wake 2.
Ah, ah,
So I think that might be the
okay,
video game element of it as well. It
okay.
feels slightly video gamey, especially some of the costumes at the start. For example, I noticed
Mm-mm.
they feel a little video gamey. Um, there was one. Where was it? The one at the start, I think. This one, for
Yeah.
example, he's a little video gamey, right? Yeah. So that's very interesting. Overall, I'm quite excited for this. Comes to theaters on April 26th. It'll be interesting to see if it comes out in Malta. I seriously doubt it will come out in Malta.
Is KRS in the chat? KRS are you in the chat? Because
I don't think this
KRS
one will come
basically.
out in Malta, to be honest. Anything else you want to add, Frank, about this one?
No, I'm a wait and see. Like I don't mind action, as like I told you. Yeah, it's a wait and see for me because even again you were mentioning how it is very some movies are starting to look very
Samey?
derivative. Like
Yeah,
even like this has a bit of the roughness of Borderlands, even with the grungy text as well. You know, and the boykish word aesthetic. It's like they're trying to mishmash the 80s aesthetic to the John Wick kind of stuff,
Mm,
almost cyberpunkish. Makes sense now that you mentioned that one of the screenwriters is involved in Alan Wake 2,
mhm.
which it's a game which also very story based. Again, I mean, it's got Bill Skarsgård is a shoe in. Um, I don't know. Maybe the audience should let us know what they think about it.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about this trailer. I'm, again, like I said, I'm very, very, very into it. I like the vibe. I like the costumes. I like the setting. Feels a little post-apocalyptic as well. I don't know. I'm getting those vibes kind of out of it. I like the humorous elements as well to it. I'm very, very into this. I'm very, very into this.
By the way,
It's my kind of movie.
seeing the black actor over here, I also thought of Winston Duke. Speaking of gigantic buff actors
All right.
for
That's
Roland.
interesting. Yes, very much so. Very much so. Moving on to the next one. This is one I'm, again, not too convinced about, unfortunately. We don't need to spend too much time on this. But apparently, we have a Spiderwick Chronicles series coming in. And when Disney asked what was certain to be a profitable and, according to Collider, always, these are not my words, what was certain to be a profitable and viewer-heavy production back in 2021, fans of the book series Spiderwick Chronicles let out a collective groan. Though a film of the same name was dropped over a decade ago in 2008, which I quite like, to be fair, a TV version never grew legs, and though Disney seemed like it would be the perfect fit for such a project, budget cuts would crush the childhood dreams of fans around the world. Seeing a space for plenty of opportunity and a doorway to a dedicated fandom desperately in need of a small screen adaptation, Roku would eventually sweep in to save the day, picking up the Spiderwick Chronicles when it was all but squashed. Just 4 months after Roku nabbed the rights for the banished Disney series, we now have our first look trailer at the adventure that awaits audiences when the Spiderwick Chronicles arrives later this year. Franco, you've seen the trailer for the Spiderwick Chronicles. Your thoughts?
No comment. Genuinely not interested. Genuinely, I think I have this fatigue of franchises. You said because it's a franchise. I'm genuinely fatigued. Why did I don't know why they're doing this. Like we have already had the Spiderwick Chronicles. This is like doing Moana live action, basically. I mean, what it's the granted production design looks good, but I don't know. Then there's what's his name? He was in Mr. Robot as well. The villain.
Mr. Robot. Are you talking about Christian Slater?
Christian Slater.
Yes.
Skip. Not interested. I'm not gonna waste my time talking. No, generally, because it's like I just said, like everything seems derivative. Maybe they're going for a darker tone because that's what Wednesday went for. They also like banking on the fact that Harry Potter is coming out in 2025 as well. Okay, like that's why no wonder I went to watch a Malaysian horror. I would need something fresh, you know.
Fair enough. Yes, same like you, Franco. When I saw Spiderwick, I was like, interesting. But nothing about this trailer really piqued my interest, unfortunately. Nothing really piqued my interest. I have to say, however, the 2008 movie I remember watching when I was still in secondary school, basically. I did have a decent time watching that one. I enjoyed it. They do, like you said, Franco, seem to be going for a more horror elements in this, while still keeping it appropriate for kids, of course. So it's a darker tone to what I remember from 2008, which is not a lot, to be fair. I mean, the director on this, I went through some of her stuff. It's not promising. She's worked on She-Hulk, Girls 5 Ever, Marry Me. Yeah, that's not, not stuff that's going to pique my interest. And one interesting thing about this, Franco, the Christian Slater of it all, he worked also on Willow. Now, as you might know, Franco, Willow was actually kicked off of the Disney Plus servers.
Yeah.
And then they removed this as well. So it's like Disney versus Christian Slater.
Oh.
But this was obviously picked up by Roku, so it will be released on Roku. I don't know if I'll check it out. I might watch the first episode just because I hate myself. And I'll see if it really captures my interest at all.
I'm feeling that Hollywood, let me put my conspiracy theorist hat on. But I'm feeling that Hollywood is trying to undermine female directors. You remember when you said that past lives,
Nia Da Costa.
Nia Da Costa, and also Celine Song, who did was it a wrinkled? What was that series?
Series by Celine Song. I have no idea.
Before she directed and wrote Past Lives.
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time. I think
Celine Song did Wheel of Time.
Yes.
Oh shit! I hated Wheel of Time.
Exactly, but then again, then she does Past Lives,
Jesus.
which is a very mature, very well thought out movie.
I hated Wheel of Time, not disliked. I hated Wheel of Time.
But that's what I'm getting now. There was with Nia Da Costa and Marvels, because I didn't watch it, but my brother put it on just to pass the time, and I saw the opening shot. It seemed quite an interesting opening shot.
Yes, direction was decent in the Marvels, right?
Yeah,
the direction was decent in that. It's
and even Madam Web is also directed by a female director, right? That's why I'm feeling they're really doing like this kind of like they're proving the right wingers who say go or go broke, kind of right. But it's not because they want to do this, but because they seem like there's no care given to it. It's like let's put out a franchise. It's but now remove my conspiracy theory hat on. Now, I'm feeling that kind of thing because, like you said, Nia Da Costa is not she's no joke as a director. Celine Song, she we saw what she did with Past Lives
Mhm.
coming off from Wheel of Time. Plus, Celine Song will also establish herself as a playwright. I think
Mhm.
studios it feels like studios are trying to give but then for example then I think when they move out of the studios and do their own thing like Regina King
Or Greta Gerwig. Oh, I mean, you've
or,
got the
Or
Greta
Greta
Gerwig of it
Gerwig.
all.
Greta Gerwig, but again, I think she started in from the indie, from
Yes, yes, yes,
Mumblecore.
yes, yes. I don't know, Franco. I find it hard to think there might be a conspiracy against female directors.
It
I
depends.
find
No,
it hard.
no, but it depends. I think upcoming new directors, yes. But for example, someone as powerful as say Emily Blunt, I think wait, no, that's not Emily Blunt. Who directed uh, Booksmart?
Oh, Booksmart. Oh my God. And I watched her latest.
Don't worry, darling.
Was Don't Worry, Darling. Yes, Booksmart was. Who was Booksmart? Hold on, let me look it up. IMDb, Booksmart. Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde, Olivia Wilde. No, but I mean, Don't Worry, Darling was all Olivia Wilde's fault, but Booksmart was great, you know? And like you said, Greta Gerwig then had started getting a good cast, a set cast. Like, apart from Christian Slater, who's the cast over here?
Cost. So, cost. We've got. Um, uh, I don't have a list. Let me go through the article. But nothing too big with regard to cost, to be honest. No big names.
Mm,
This is the writing team. Cast. We've got
Bulgara.
along with Daniels and Cottrell as twin brothers, Jared and Simon, Joy Bryant, Hunter Dillon, Jack Dylan Grazer. No big names. The big name is clearly Christian Slater, right? In all of
Yeah, I
this
mean,
as the villain. As the
it's an
villain.
it's an uphill struggle. It's an uphill struggle, you know.
Keith coming in with a comment. Unfortunately, not many filmmakers are given creative freedom in franchise movies.
Yeah,
Which
that's
that I
yeah,
will 100%,
100%
100%
agree,
agree
100% agree,
on.
Keith.
100% agree on that. Definitely. Now this next one, Franco, I think we can definitely agree. There's a lot of creative freedom in this one. I don't know if you managed to watch the trailer for it. I watched it right before we started the podcast, but Yellowstone's Kevin Costner heads west in New Horizon, an American saga trailer. You got the trailer, which released literally just 1 or 2 hours before we started the podcast, as Kevin Costner has apparently poured his heart and soul into Horizon, an American saga, and it's clear to see he's pulled out all the stops, as evidenced by the first trailer for the two-part epic western. Luckily for Costner, it seems as if the sacrifice was worth it, at least as far as Horizon's first impressions go. The film is set to chronicle the journey of settlers in the American West across a span of 15 years. Audiences will watch as these settlers navigate critical choices amidst the shadows of the impending Civil War. According to the official summary, the series delves into the allure of the Old West, capturing how it was both won and lost through the intense struggles and sacrifices of numerous individuals. Franco, you've watched the trailer for
Uh,
Horizon, an
I
American
didn't. I
saga.
didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, you haven't watched the trailer? All
No,
right.
no.
Well, I have. I'm just going to skim through it really quickly. I'm just going to say, overall, I think the scale looks decent. Like it looks like it's going to be a decent looking trailer. I enjoyed the trailer. I'm not 100% convinced. It feels very old school. Very old school. In its style and the music, even the way it's shot. It just feels like a movie which should have released like at least 20 years ago. Now, there is the whole nostalgia element of it all, which they might be going for, where people are like, "Oh, you remember those old westerns? Let's go and watch another, epic historical western," which might be an element they're going for with this. Obviously, all feels very practical and lived in. The world seems interesting. A very strong shift from recent movies. Still, I'm not 100% convinced by it. I'd love to go and watch it in a theater, though. This seems like a very much a cinema movie with its scape and its cinematography. Franco, I don't think then you have any thoughts to add about it, obviously,
not
because
much to add.
you haven't watched it. So that's it with regard to trailers. Viewers and listeners, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts about all those trailers. We had quite a few trailers to talk about today. And with that, let's move on to the news. Not too much with regard to news, but this was an interesting story I just wanted to get into really quickly before we get into the SAG Awards. But apparently, I read this and I was shocked. There seems to have been a plan to end the HBO series Game of Thrones with a film trilogy designed for movie theaters instead of just another normal season of television. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss confirmed this was actually the original plan for ending the HBO mega hit. They wanted 3 movies instead of spreading the final 13 episodes across 2 seasons. Now, this is quoting Benioff. Benioff said network executives came up to them and told them HBO stands for home box office and not away box office. Now, obviously, the article gets into the whole 3-body problem of it all, how they went for the more freedom at Netflix. I doubt Netflix gives you too much freedom, because I doubt Netflix will be happy with you releasing a movie in cinemas rather than on Netflix itself. So I don't know about how that
TV.
really works.
Next time, Apple TV, buddy.
Yes. However, Benioff, as the Wall Street Journal magazine reports, Benioff and Weiss, who have been friends since grad school, weren't crazy about HBO's then owners, AT&T, whose executives once asked whether Game of Thrones could be shot vertically so it would fit on your phone. The company also openly discussed the idea of snackable mini episodes of the series. Oh, I'm cringing reading this.
And now I miss Joe.
I'm cringing.
Oh my God.
Now, and this is something that Yella had talked about, right? When you sign a 5-year deal with a company, you want that company to be stable so you can be left alone to do your work and not have to worry about being bought by the phone company. Benioff added, finding the smoothest ride in the ocean was key. Oh, reading all of this and hearing about all the dysfunctional going on. Oh my Lord, I cringed reading this. Franco,
Madonna,
what do you think about all of this? Do you think Game of Thrones should have been shot vertically so you can watch it on your phone? And do you think we should have snackable mini episodes of the series?
Sorry, I'm laughing because I remember I saw this YouTuber talking about this. Apparently, there's this app where you watch a mini series. I think it's like My Werewolf Husband or My Werewolf Boyfriend. And in order to watch, so you can watch the first 2 episodes for free, but in order to watch the rest of the season or the rest of the next 2 episodes, you have to watch around 60 minutes of adverts.
Jesus Christ.
And it was I think my alpha male werewolf alpha wolf husband or boyfriend her arranged alpha wolf. I forgot.
Oh my God, I hate this. I hate everything about this. I hate everything about this, Franco. Everything about this. Oh my God, to think the horrible decisions that were taken when AT&T took over at Warner Brothers, just thinking of the disasters they committed. Just a mess, a complete and total mess. Complete and total mess. Which starts to explain why Dave Benioff and D.B. Weiss wanted to rush through the whole thing at the end of it all. They just wanted to get rid of it, get rid of the stress and the pressure, and get to. Back then, obviously, they wanted Star Wars, right? They wanted to get into Star Wars, which obviously then did not work out. But yeah, hearing about this, oh my lord, no, not at all, not at all. Oh,
That's when businessmen run creative stuff.
yep.
Bottom line, not creativity.
Yep. Just a quick note for people who love Downton Abbey. Apparently, there are rumors that a season 7 may be on the way. Nothing is confirmed. Something seems to be happening. Just a rumor of it all. Obviously, the Downton Abbey franchise has been fantastic. Like 6 great seasons of television, 2 great movies as well, which made quite a lot of money as well, with quite a small budget spent on it. Overall, I'm excited for this. I love Downton Abbey. I think both movies were great. I think many people in the cast are also excited to be back in Downton Abbey. So I would be very much looking forward to watching a season 7 of Downton Abbey. And with that, Franco, I'm just going to skim through the winners of the SAG Awards. I'm just going to start with the TV shows first, and then I'll let you talk about the ones that catch your interest. Starting off with Outstanding Action Performance. Oh, my Lord. Starting off with Outstanding Action Performance by a Stunt Ensemble. That's The Last of Us. Outstanding Action Performance by a Stunt Ensemble in a Motion Picture, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. So that's a Stunt Ensemble honors, and I'm happy to see that included. Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Television Movie or Limited Series. Ali Wong as Amy Lau Beef. I think very well deserved. Very well deserved. Would have been happy with Brie Larson there as well, but Ali Wong was great. Performance by a male actor, Stephen Yeun as Danny Cho. Again, no discussion there. Outstanding Performance by a female. Oh my God, what's happening to my Outstanding Performance by a female actor in a comedy series. We've got Aya Dabiri as Sydney Adamu, The Bear. Again, I don't think any discussions about that. She was great. Jeremy Allen White, obviously winning Outstanding Performance by a male actor in a comedy series, with The Bear taking both for comedy. Very, The Bear is such a funny series.
Tight, but tight as well. Tight competition there.
Bill Hader, I would imagine.
Bill Hader, Jason Sudeikis,
and Ibon Mosbarash, I think would have been. There's going to be another season of Beef. Okay,
we know, buddy. Looking forward for more Beef.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana in The Crown, winning Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Drama Series, with competition from Bella Ramsey, Sarah Snook. Interesting. Sarah Snook versus Elizabeth Debicki. That's an interesting battle there. Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Drama Series, with Pedro Pascal winning this. I don't know if you saw the speech by Pedro Pascal. Completely wasted. He didn't think he was going to win it. So he said, I thought I wasn't going to win it, so I just got drunk. I would have assumed Kieran Culkin would win it, because Kieran Culkin for the final season of Succession was great. But Pedro Pascal, I'm happy for him as well. No, holy shit, this is a long list.
Whoa. Yeah, this The Bear won it.
The Bear winning Outstanding Performance by an ensemble.
I don't know what's funny about the nail-biting tension.
Yes.
I don't know.
The anxiety I feel when I watch The Bear is just crazy. Succession probably winning. I'm assuming this is Outstanding Performance by an ensemble in a drama series. So, Franco, having looked at those series awards from SAG, what do you think about them overall?
Oh, I mean, it's another award series. Like, well done to all the winners. Succession, I guess, very well deserved, with lots of high praise. The Bear as well, and The Bear generally make miracles, because their second season was also shot like in a rush. But I think that's what makes the motion picture crackle, basically. I think that's what gives it the energy and the anxiety of it all.
Yes. The anxiety they feel as they're filming it is then put into the show.
Yes,
and give it to all the viewers of The Bear.
For sure. And I mean, Pedro Pascal, he's really down to earth if he thought he wasn't gonna win. Hana Eglek.
Yes, yes, very much so, very much so. Yeah, that's what he
Louis,
said. He said, I got wasted just because, I didn't think I was going to win. I would have
yeah,
assumed Kieran Culkin would have won it as well.
yeah. I mean, he's quite right. I mean, not that his performance was bad in Last of Us. He
No,
nailed
not
the
at all, not
part.
at all. It's just Kieran Culkin was
Exactly.
outstanding, outstanding. But still happy for Pedro Pascal. Very, very happy for him.
Happy for
Moving
Davin
on.
Joy.
Yes, Davin Joy Randolph as Mary Lamb in The Holdovers, winning outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role. We've got male actor in a supporting role, won by Robert Downey Jr. I think at this point we all know who's going to win
Also,
the Oscars for male actor
tight.
in a supporting and female actor in a supporting.
No, it's gonna be Barbie though. You'd be surprised. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh no, I'm quite convinced about these two. Robert Downey and Davin Joy Randolph, I think, have it done. Now, this one is interesting. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role, won by Lily Gladstone, which really puts up the whole competition for the Oscars up for debate, right? It's a 50-50, in my opinion, between Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone. I'm still on the Emma Stone side, probably because I preferred Emma Stone's performance to Lily Gladstone's, which felt more like a supporting performance rather than a central performance. That's my opinion, of course. Outstanding performance won by Cillian Murphy, and at this point, I think Paul Giamatti fans have to give up, resign, and accept that Cillian Murphy is also going to win the Oscar for Best Actor. Oppenheimer winning the outstanding performance by a cast and a motion picture, and that is the awards with regard to films. Franco, anything which sticks out for you?
Because American Fiction was not bad as an ensemble. Can you what else? Who else was there?
Barbie,
Color Purple, Clears of the Flower Moon,
and Oppenheimer.
I mean, again, Oppenheimer was super stacked, huh?
Yes. And everyone's performance. I mean, you just think about Rami Malek, who appears for just 15 minutes of the movie, but just like dominates the screen in those 15 minutes. Just literally takes over the movie and says, listen, I'm here now. It's great. Even Matt Damon, for example, I loved Matt Damon. His appearance, he's brought just a slight bit of levity that the movie needed, just not to be so depressing.
Even Casey Affleck
was fantastic. Emily Blunt, for me, should be a favorite for Best Supporting Actress, in my opinion. Emily Blunt was fantastic in Oppenheimer. As much as a lot of people say that Christopher Nolan is not able to write female characters, I think Emily Blunt is great. Really, really good.
Yeah, so he gave her the last word, basically. Yeah?
Yes.
She was the one with a spine at the end of the day.
Yep. Agreed. So overall, I think, Franco, we more or less agree with the SAG Awards winners, and I think they're a good indication to where we're going with regard to the Oscars now, the upcoming Oscars, which I believe are in around 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks.
So excited for that. Looking forward to the Oscars, and obviously we'll have the pre-Oscar podcast and the post-Oscar podcast where we'll predict and give our thoughts, who should win and who will win. And after, obviously, we'll go through who won and who should have won, basically. And that will be the Oscars podcast. So always careful not to press on stop recording. Madonna, that's stop recording are really close to each other. So with that, viewers and listeners in the chat, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts about all those pieces of news. I'm still shocked about that HBO news, the Game of Thrones news, which literally blew my mind when I read it.
Yes, because Vertical really shows the scope of everything. Like, even Elden Ring should be played vertically. Andrea.
You know how you want to watch Game of Thrones? Like this is how you want to watch Game of Thrones. Just like this. This is exactly the way you should be watching Game of Thrones, right? This is exactly the way you should be watching Game of Thrones. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, to be fair, Franco, that's what happens when a phone company takes over movie production and series production.
For sure.
I mean, AT&T, to be fair, I mean, they are a phone company. They're going to do what's best for AT&T, not for art, right? So I'm not upset at AT&T. I'm upset that as a production company as powerful as HBO falls under the rule of AT&T.
Well, AT&T.
That's what's shocking. But thankfully, HBO has survived, and we still get some decent stuff on HBO.
Having worked mostly in vertical aspect ratio, it's very challenging, very limiting, and to get some kind of depth. Oh my god, man! It's sometimes when I turn the camera and film landscape again, I'm like, oh my god, this feels so liberating.
Yes,
I feel less anxious.
yes.
I
Agreed
mean,
completely.
not that it doesn't have its merits, but I mean, why do you want? Why do this is what's happening? You know, those horses where they can cover their eyes so that they look straight. This is what's happening, and you forget all of what's happening around you.
Yep. And let's get into the reviews, Franco. So, viewers and listeners in the chat, Franco, I wanted to add something.
Which is a good segue for our first review, actually, I guess, because it's all about what's happening outside of the frame.
Do you want to get into Tiger Stripes so first, or the documentary?
No, let's go with Zone of Interest so that we have something to discuss,
all right.
both of us.
Okay, all right. So let's go into
But
Zone
first,
of Interest.
viewers and listeners, tell us about any news that we missed. Also, tell us what movies you want us to review or check out as well. Because now we're going into the reviews, and our first review is Zone of Interest.
Franco, do you want to get into it first?
We can get both into it. Obviously, Joe gave a bit of a small review about this, right?
Definitely. Yes, he already did review it. I just want to skim through it really quickly just to give our thoughts as well, because I think we both have quite a lot of thoughts. Written and directed by Jonathan Glazer. Obviously, this is based on the novel of the same name by Martin Amis. And in it, we have the Auschwitz commandant Rudolf Hoss and his wife Hedwig, who strive to build a dream life for their family in a house and garden beside the camp. Franco, your thoughts?
The log line is a very dark joke, I have to say. But this movie, the dread that I was feeling. You remember when we said how much we hated the antagonist in The Promised Land?
Yes.
I hated Sandra Rudolph Hoss and Sandra Huller's character. How callous could you be to be like enjoying your? It's basically like I can give you a real life analogy, a present day analogy. Tiffany fucking Haddish going to Israel to do a stand-up show while like a few kilometers away people are dying under the bombs. Like how? No, I that's what I wrote in my review. I am speechless by the lack of humanity these people could have gone. One particular scene which I genuinely like gave me goosebumps is when the edit goes suddenly into present day and she shows you the extent of the tragedy of it all, and the guy just like it's like his humanity is making him feel sick, and then he just walks down into hell just the same. I think this movie you need good sound. This is really important. Like sound design will definitely go for Zone of Interest. And the poster is so smart and great. Like
Very
it
much so.
was.
And the colors, Franco, the colors are very important, right? Because the black and red were used quite frequently throughout the movie. Like the element of colors was interesting. I'm still the opening of the movie, right? It gives you how long? 2-3 minutes, I think, of basically a dark screen and the soundtrack, basically.
Yeah.
Very off-putting soundtrack. What was going on there? I was like, what's going on here? My mom was like, that was hell.
Yeah. Oh, you watched it with your family?
Yes, I was just with my mom and dad.
Okay. What did they think about it?
Oh, my dad disliked it. My mom could have appreciated what was going on, but was a bit too shocked by the sound, and she couldn't take the sound. Like the sound was too much for her.
Yeah, yes, yes.
But she appreciated what was going on, kind of, in this movie.
Yes, I felt that. I felt that dread. It's not that I couldn't take it. It's just like, I mean, it's. I think it's there's an like a subsurface of rage in this movie. It's like, yeah, you're thinking you're seeing a normal family life, and I appreciate by how much that he doesn't make you sympathize. The most you can sympathize is maybe with her mother.
Yes, her mother, exactly.
Her mother and
And
the
I mean
kids.
the kids. Oh, the kids. I mean, you can't really blame the kids, to be
But
honest.
but the kids there were, I think they were being affected psychologically, yeah. Especially
Yes,
like
100%.
because with the sleepwalking of the daughter.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a it I have to admit it's a bit of a testing watch because you think what's going on, and then once it hits hard.
Hmm. Franco, I think this movie is evidence that the horror you cannot see is much scarier
Oh my
than the
god.
horror you can see.
Oh, yes. Every single like the shots and the screaming is like so, and you because you start second guessing yourself. Was that a scream I heard? You know?
Yes, yes. The screens, the sound design of it all. I think we have to talk about that, right? Props to the sound designer, Johnny Byrne, who was the sound designer behind Zone of Interest. I did some research about him. Franco apparently he did a lot of research of it all. Basically, he built a library of different sounds that they would have heard living next door to Auschwitz, basically, with elements of, for example, manufacturing machinery. He's got sounds of crematoria, furnaces going on, obviously the soldiers' boots, and obviously the gunfire and the screams of pain, right? He created this compilation of sound, and working with Jonathan Glazer, they fit in the sound here and there when required and when needed. And yeah. The soundtrack, Franco, apparently, I don't know if you heard about the soundtrack, but Michel Levy worked on the soundtrack. But Glazer apparently decided to pretty much scrap the whole thing except for the start and at the end, basically. The introduction to the movie and the prologue. And scrapped the rest of the soundtrack. Basically, the director saying, no melodrama in this movie. Nothing melodramatic.
Not only that, but there was also the moments where like you see the infrared.
Yes.
Wow, that's
Going for a very documentary like feel in this movie, right? Feels very and even the lighting, for example, the lighting feels very natural.
no,
Like,
amazing.
I don't think any added lighting. I don't think they added any contrast to it. I think everything feels really natural. And even the way it was shot, Franco, is fascinating because if you do a bit of research on how it was shot, apparently they put like 10 cameras in different places in the house and basically kept the shots going on.
Very improvisational. I think he used the same MO that he used with Under the Skin as well.
Lucas Zal.
Yeah, Lucas Zal. But
the cinematographer and
I think they use the Sony Venice because it's a modular camera.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, I believe so. I believe they use that one. So the way it was shot is fascinating, very documentary-like. Keeps you a bit kind of like away from like the emotion. It's not that it doesn't make you emotional. It made me very emotional, but a different kind of emotional.
No,
it's not like that dramatic movie where you have close-ups of actors crying and.
No. It made me, for me, it made me angry at the mundanity of it all. How mundane it was. It's like, oh, look at the little doggy. Like, fuck you, man. You're killing people. It's it's genuinely, I couldn't see the humanity in them except for the kids. And like I said, the mother, there's a bit of a spoiler here, guys. If you want to skip ahead like maybe 20-30 seconds, when the mother I think the mother realizes what was going on, and that's why she left. I think she left in utter horror without even saying goodbye. It's like this is what my daughter's dream life. This is the cost of my daughter's dream life.
Exactly. Pretty shocking watch. Pretty shocking watch.
Yeah.
And Sandra Huller was fantastic in this. I think Sandra Huller could have easily been nominated for Best Supporting Actress in this one.
Yes,
She
yes,
was
yes.
fantastic in this. Fantastic in this. So overall, my rating was a 4.5 for this one, Franco. I don't know about you.
4.5 and the 5, I put it 4.5, but I might change it to a 5 as well. Because the 4.5, because the 0.5 was, yes, there was a bit of it can test a bit, test you a bit. But like you said, there's that coldness and the like the clinical aspect of it all. But it's made. I think even for like film lovers like us, I think this will be a movie where either you really hate it, like because what the hell am I saying? What is this? It's making me boring, or you really appreciate what Jonathan Glazer has done.
So with that, Franco, shall we move on to another horrific piece of direction? Shall we get into 20 Days in Mariupol? I haven't watched this one.
20 Days in Mariupol. After the Oscar nominations came out, I wanted to check this documentary. And basically, this documentary is about the Russian invasion, the beginning of the Russian invasion. One of the towns that was invaded close to the Crimean Sea, if I'm not mistaken, is Mariupol. And a team of Ukrainian journalists are trapped in the besieged city of Mariupol and struggle to continue their work documenting the war's atrocities. This is essential viewing, guys. It made me appreciate Zone of Interest as well. But also, we have become so desensitized to real life horror and tragedy. It's amazing. Like, you think this is the thing that there was a conflict with him. You're like, the journalist is doing a great job in documenting what's happening, but then we see, like, we're speaking about the vertical aspect. We see this Oya Hasra and we swipe, and I honestly, like, this is not. Listen, let's call a spade a spade. Putin started this, hands down, but war brings tragedy to the common man. And the breakdown of society I saw in this documentary, it was a harrowing watch. It doesn't shy away from tragedy, like we see dead infants. It made me look away. Obviously, I think when we see horror in the sense of like gore and blood, we know that these are practical effects. We also tend to cringe and look away. But this hits somewhere deeper in your soul. It's an essential viewing. Caution, this will stay with you as well, as much as Zone of Interest stayed with me. Just don't watch it right after Zone of Interest, because it's a tough watch, but essential viewing. That's all I can say. It's like 5 out of 5 for me. No questions asked.
Also happens to be the favorite for the Oscars.
Which I said, in fact, it will be well deserved if they win the Oscar, but it's only tokenistic, because winning an Oscar, what's happening? I think there was one line in this movie. There's some good quotes of it. How many more deaths do we need to stop a war?
Definitely. So, 5 out of 5 from Franco for the 20 Days in Mariupol. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I'm not sure if I should be looking forward to seeing it, to be honest. It's like a very depressing watch. And there's been lots of depressing movies recently. Franco, I'm going to get into Memory next.
Go for it.
Skim quickly through Memory. Memory, which I believe Joe had reviewed a long time ago. He had watched it in Venice. Bring it up on the screen right now. Now, Joe had loved Memory. He had, I believe, given it a 4.5 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken. But here are my thoughts. A drama film starring Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard. Jessica Chastain is Sylvia, who is a single mother, also a social worker who, I like to put it, Jessica Chastain's character remembers too much, and Peter Sarsgaard's character, Saul, cannot remember enough.
At
Because
all.
Peter Sarsgaard's character, Saul, suffers from an early onset of dementia.
Ooh.
And these characters meet together, and they're kind of like their troubled lives kind of intertwine together, and a very, very touching relationship develops there between the two. And obviously directed by Michel Franco.
Yes. Sorry.
now-
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
So I, like I said, was looking forward to this one. I had high hopes for it. I didn't hate it. I wasn't completely convinced by it, however. Now, let me get into what I liked, first of all. So, first of all, this movie deals with very, very serious themes, whether it's dementia, whether it's past trauma, whether it's sexual assault. There's lots of very, 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 very complex elements here in this movie. And I love that a movie like this is touching on these kinds of themes, and it's very much needed, right? Very much needed. Now, with all these heavy themes being dealt with, we've got two great central performances. Jessica Chastain, especially, as always, is unbelievably good. She is just one of the best actresses in Hollywood right now. She is unbelievably good in this one. Really great performance. I really, really liked her performance. So Jessica Chastain is fantastic. Peter Sarsgaard as well. Very, very touching performance as well by him. My issues with it. For some reason, Michel Franco, and I understand the reason why, not some reason, I understand completely the reason why, and I'll get into it, but I really disagree with the style of direction he went with. He basically went with the style of direction used in The Zone of Interest, which is to keep the viewers at an arm's length from what is going on screen. Now, in Zone of Interest, it worked because of the sound effects, because of the sound design and the horrific stuff that's going on. But what's going on here on screen is a relationship between two persons. And obviously, the relationship between Sandra Huller's character and Hoff, obviously, we don't want to get into that, right? I mean, I don't think anyone who watches The Zone of Interest will be like, oh, I want to really enjoy the relationship between the commandant of the Auschwitz and his wife. I want to really enjoy seeing how the relationship develops, right? But here, we've got two characters, two very fragile personalities, two very fragile characters. And I respect the fact that Michel Franco didn't want to go for anything melodramatic. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work for me personally.
In this case,
I don't think it works. For example, the director uses it's all shot in a very cold fashion. The director uses a lot of wide static shots, which they are beautiful. The cinematography is beautiful. It's beautifully shot. Don't get me wrong, Franco. Again, very natural lighting, very, very natural lighting. But, for example, when you get to the dramatic scenes in this movie where you've got this massive argument between Jessica Chastain's character and her mom, it's just, okay, the argument's going there, but can we focus in on the action a little bit now? Can we start giving us some close-ups? You've got a masterpiece of a performance by Jessica Chastain, and I forgot who was the actress who was her mom. I forgot who was her mom, but the actress who was her mom was so good, and it's just the camera so far away, and she's got such a wide shot of it all. Oh, it's such a pity. It's such a pity. Now, apart from the way it was shot and the direction, I think also the pacing is another issue with this movie. The movie drags a lot midway through, so that's another issue. And so I love the dialogue between Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard's characters. Great dialogue there. But the writing struggles a little bit, especially when it comes, like I said, to the pacing and the way it develops the story. I think we could have hurried up things a little bit and cut out maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes of it all. So overall, don't get me wrong, this is a decent watch, and I would recommend checking it out, especially if you're a fan of the style of direction Michel Franco has. For me personally, some elements of it worked. It's pretty much saved by the central performances, but it didn't work as well as it should have, in my opinion. This had great potential to be a fantastic movie. Unfortunately, it's just a decent movie. A decent movie. So at 3 out of 5 from me. Again, I wasn't upset I watched it. I didn't feel like I wasted time, but it did drag a little bit. And like I said, the direction put me off a little bit. So 3 out of 5 for memory.
Okay. Have you seen his Brave New World? I think it's called Brave New World.
I believe so. I believe
Okay.
so. No, I have not. No, I have not watched it.
I think you like
Another
it
one I was
more.
thinking about.
I think you like it more than this one.
Okay.
He did something similar with Tim Roth, another drama. I think Tim Roth and Juliette Binoche, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't see Memory, but I genuinely enjoyed Brave New World. And as far as I remember, I think I did review it on at the podcast as well.
No, I haven't watched it. I've watched some other stuff of his, but again, his movie, he has a certain style, right? I don't think his style is.
New Order, not Brave New World, New Order.
Oh man, I was looking at something else. New Order.
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched this one.
Do check it out. It's
Okay.
it has great political commentary, political and social
All
commentary.
right. Okay. So that is Michel Franco's Memory. Moving on, Franco, want to tackle?
I'm gonna tackle Lovely Dark and Deep because that's Lovely Dark and Deep, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna skim through this. Okay, first of all, 4.8 is very, very, very cruel, very cruel.
Ilalo.
But at the same time, also understandable. So right from the get-go, this is a 3 out of 5 movie. And the movie is about Lennon, a new backcountry ranger that travels alone through the dangerous wilderness, hoping to uncover the origins of a tragedy that has haunted her since she was a child. So basically, in this backcountry, people go missing without a trace, and people don't know why. Like, for example, I see you next to me, I turn my head for a few seconds, and then I go around, and this person is no longer there. So there's an element of cosmic horror going on. Now, this movie feels more like a mood piece rather than a finished movie. It's very underdeveloped. The atmosphere is on point, and again, I said it was more like an impression of a cosmic horror. Like it had its moments when Lennon gets lost and she suddenly goes back to her cabin, and she starts to explore her childhood memory home in these rooms. Don't tell me how she got there, but there was some creepy moments there. And there's also the image of a black deer, which is quite memorable. Like you rarely see a black deer. It's again, I think it's it's a debut movie. It shows that it's a debut movie. Again, there's a bit. You just mentioned pacing issues. There are some pacing issues here. I think, and like I said, I think it's only up from here for the director. So basically, this was just a bit of an exercise in style over matter. But we do need some matter in style. 3 out of 5.
Franco, I saw that she was a writer on Midnight Mass. The director, Teresa Sutherland, was part of the writing team behind Midnight Mass, which is maybe why the cosmic horror element came from, the ideas for that.
Well, it felt, I don't know, but I don't know, because some of the dates in the movie showed 2021. I don't know whether there was some kind of delays, which also made me put my conspiracy hat on, because it's like because the idea was interesting. The ideas are interesting, but they weren't exploited to their full potential.
Okay.
So that's it.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 for Lovely, Dark and Deep.
Yeah.
So the visual elements must have been very strong, man. Franco, since you gave it a 3.
I was being kind because I was teetering between a 2.5 and a 3. It might go down to a 2.5, but I don't want to be cruel because I know I saw what the idea was going on there.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Mela, the last review, Mela Franco, check. You don't have anything else?
Yes. And I saved the best for last.
Ah, okay. I thought.
Tiger Stripes.
Oh, Tiger. I forgot about Tiger Stripe. Sorry. A Malaysian horror movie.
Like I said
Go
in the
for it.
beginning of the podcast. Thank you. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I really enjoy finding these hidden gems from all around the world. This is a hidden gem. Um, uh, so basically, the story is of an 11-year-old girl who's carefree, and she starts to experience horrifying physical changes to her body. Yeah, basically this girl starts to go through puberty, but puberty in Malaysia apparently turns you into something other than human.
Oh shit.
um so this was a battle for me. Basically I wrote the review on Letterboxd. I'm not going to read it all. um let's start with the issue. So basically, part of the issues is pacing, but most probably this is becoming a bit of a personal a personal ick for me. I'm becoming known as a Mr. Snip. um the movie could feel a bit like exactly snip snip. The movie could have been 10 minutes short, I feel like, because sometimes the proceedings plod along, and it takes away from the dread that this movie manages to build from the get-go. Like there's the immediate beginning is a close-up of the 11-year-old girl, and she's like roaring straight into camera, like breaking the fourth wall. um and again, this most probably goes with the budget. Is there the budget involved here shown on IMDb? Is is the budget shown on
Oh,
IMDb by any chance?
budget was apparently 75,000.
Yeah. Okay. So
Sorry. Represents a significant percentage of the film's overall budget of 1.1 million.
okay.
1.1 million in total. To come to budget.
Okay, it's interesting because there were two instances where the effects really pulled me out of it. I mean, some might find it like scary and creepy, but I was thinking that there was a bit of budgetary limitations. However, here are the merits, because with that budget, I think she manages to do something really interesting. People will inevitably compare it to Julia Ducournau with Raw. This kind of new feeling within you, of discovery
Yes.
of the new feeling within you. But what Amanda Nell Eu does is she makes it her own story. Like, in fact, like I said, actually, I'm very glad that this was the first Malay film I came across. I never heard the Malaysian language. Sounded a bit. Some of the words sounded a bit like Filipino, to be honest. It's another movie which handles the theme of burgeoning womanhood and how it's repressed. Basically, you could say the theme of this movie is let children be children, basically. Um,
Hmm.
uh, and because basically it's you see one there from a Muslim state, apparently, and there, like when she removes the veil, it's like a sort of blasphemy whenever she removes the veil.
Hmm.
There's also the education system, which seems kind of outdated. Like one moment in particular, like she's not allowed in class, apparently some religious studies, because she's on her period. Like, it's mind blowing to know that there's this. I call it tradition, basically. And yeah, it's basically being ashamed of turning into a woman, being shamed for being turned into a woman. And obviously, when this is being repressed, it transforms into something monstrous. I'm not gonna say how it transforms, but to keep things short, there were some moments where the cinematography was so great, like this lighting reminiscent of Nicholas Winding Refn, but also the quality makes it a bit like fairy tale quality. And there's also do go check these guys out. It's called Geber Modus Operandi, and these guys basically mix Indonesian traditional music with Geber music, and it's a blend of euphoric music, sometimes a bit chaotic, but it does give that dread. It like really gives that dread in the movie.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
uh, Again, hopefully, I've sent Amanda Nell Eu a message. Hopefully, we'll get her on the podcast because it's really interesting. This is her debut as well. It's an interesting to see also how she got the funding because she was funded by the Taiwan, by I think from France as well. There was also the Indonesian movie. I forgot, but there were many production companies involved with this. And last but not least, it may test your patience, but please stick with it. In fact, the more I thought about it, I was thinking of giving it a 4 rather than a 3.5. But for now, it's a 3.5. But do
Okay.
check it out. I want to see more people getting I want to hear more people's opinions about this.
All
There's
right, Franco.
I think there's also one scene where I laughed my head off, pun intended.
All right, we'll definitely try to check it out. So, with that, Franco, I have a short rant, gonna keep it very short, and a short review. So let's start off with the rant first. Let's start off with should have been a review, but instead it's a rant on Last Epoch. Because this week, I was meant to review Last Epoch. I was looking forward to this game. I've been very much looking forward to this game. And to start off, this is a great game. The little bit I played, and little bit with a massive, massive asterisk next to it. Little bit not because I didn't have the time. Well, I did have a bit of time to play it. The little bit I played, unfortunately, fortunately, it's a very good game. So the issue there are massive server issues. It's literally unplayable online. So I'd love to come here and tell you all about the great elements, the time-bending elements, and the great crafting and fascinating action and beautiful spell effects that I have as a warlock, the different creature design, the world design, going from the past to the present to the future, all beautiful elements. Indie team behind it, well-designed elements, ARPG elements, great loot, fascinating worlds. I'd love to come in and talk about all those elements, which are there, which I saw in the, I think, 15 hours or so that I played. But I can't give you a review of 15 hours of gameplay. I can't come here and give you a review after 15 hours of playing this game. So unfortunately, I cannot review Last Epoch. I can only tell you I cannot recommend it because, unfortunately, right now it's unplayable online, which is, unfortunately, Last Epoch. I'll play it a bit more. Yeah, Franco.
I was going to say, because this is my kind of game, and once you told me that it's only playable online, I'm done.
No. 1 second. 1 second. That's the big problem. It does have an offline mode, but your character is not transferable. So after playing 15 hours with a character, and then the massive server issues really started, am I going to restart with a new character offline? No way. I have a life to live. I can't start again afresh. Why didn't they make characters transferable from online to offline? That would have solved everything. And when the servers are down, you can play with your character offline. And when the servers are up, you can play with your character online. I don't think that's going to break the game.
Basic gaming 101, basically.
And it's a pity because this is an indie team behind it. This is it's a small indie team. When we joke about Blizzard being a small indie company, 11th Hour Games really are a small indie company. I mean, you can see here, they've only got one game, Last Epoch, and it shows. It's a very good game. And it shows that the team behind it have passion for the ARPG style of games. It shows. However, unfortunately, I have to call a spade a spade. I cannot review this. I'll try and review it next week if the servers are fixed. So far, they are not. I'm just going to
You
end.
play, but you play PvP online because for if you can play it offline, for me this is a great game for me. I like playing.
Yes, no. There's, as far as I know, there's very few elements of PvP. It's more the having other characters going around and being online, trading, those elements. That's why there's the online elements to it all. So that's a massive pity. That's a massive pity because it's a great,
True.
well-designed game. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So to end the podcast, and I'm going to keep this short because I'm quite tired, we have the final review for Avatar The Last Airbender, the Netflix live action. The series is obviously an adaptation of the animated series, which was released from 2005-2008, fan favorite for many fans of anime. And the whole series is set in the war-torn world, where you've basically got benders, right, who can bend the 4 classical elements: water, earth, fire, or air. And at the center of it all is Aang, who is the Avatar, the last living airbender, who is the bridge between the mortal and the spirit worlds. And he's basically capable of bending all 4 elements instead of just one, as pretty much every other bender can. Now, the Avatar is important because he keeps the balance of the world and nature. He brings peace. However, he is now trouble comes to the world with the very militaristic Fire Nation, which are attempting to conquer the world. And, together with Aang, we see other fan favorite characters like Katara and Sokka. And basically, the whole point of it all is basically for Aang to master the 4 elements whilst being pursued by Zuko, who is the infamous exiled crown prince of the Fire Nation, who seeks to regain his honor by capturing the Avatar. So that's pretty much the setting and the story. Now, I'm going to come out right out and say it. I think the 7.5 is very well deserved. This is a solid live action remake, in my opinion, following up from the successful One Piece. I'm happy to say that Avatar The Last Airbender is another successful live action remake for Netflix. Things are looking up for anime fans. Visually, I've seen some criticism for it. In my opinion, it looks great. Don't judge it off Twitter clips. Twitter completely ruins the quality. Watching it on my OLED television, it looked great. The CGI effects looked great and felt very impactful. The bending, for example, the earth bending feels very impactful. The sound effects are there. It feels very powerful. And it's really well done, in my opinion. To add on to the visuals, also, I was really impressed by the different settings we see in the series. Almost every episode takes place in a different city or town or location, and the practical effects are great, but the CGI effects for the massive cities that we see, the fantastical cities, are just really impressive for a Netflix series. Really impressed by the different cities that we see. So those elements are really well done. So great settings, great cities, stunning cities and locations. Overall, the cast are decent. First of all, I want to say that Gordon Cormier as Aang must be protected at all costs. He's lovable. He's really, I think, as someone who hasn't watched the anime, I feel like he really brings out the core elements of Avatar, the anime show. I think he like completely encapsulates those elements, and he's great as Aang, right? Very lovable. You're going to be on his side from the first second you see him on screen. The rest, to be honest, were quite decent. Kia Wentio as Katara was fine, as was Ian Ousley as Sokka. I think they were both quite decent. Nothing out of this world, to be honest, but again, they're fine. My favorites, apart from obviously Gordon Cormier as Aang, were Dallas Liu as the Prince Zuko, who is one of the kind of like antagonists, but he is a very complicated character, which is probably why I like him the most. And his uncle Iro, Paul Sun Hyung, who was great, who fans of Star Wars will remember him as the pilot in The Mandalorian. They were great. I loved the way the relationship developed between them. I loved how Prince Zuko develops as a character throughout the 8 episodes. I think the writing team did a really good job in developing the relationship between the two and developing the character of Zuko. And there's a great arc there. Also, a great arc with regard to his soldiers. So the way Prince Zuko eventually gains the respect of his soldiers, his company. Fantastic stuff. I really like that element. Overall, I'm very positive about it. Some negatives I would have to mention about Avatar The Last Airbender, the live-action remake, is, I would say, some of the very exposition-heavy dialogue. Unfortunately, as well as some of the characters and some of the relationships were written, the dialogue is very exposition-heavy, especially in the opening episode where everything is explained. The avatar is the blah, 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 and everything is explained to the camera. Listen, I mean, I haven't watched the anime, and even not having watched the anime, but just having watched some episodes here and there on Italian television, you know, I get what's going on here, right? I mean, I think it's quite clear. We don't need to have characters looking at the camera and explaining exactly every single small element of the lore behind Avatar The Last Airbender. Please, don't insult our intelligence. To be fair, this is clearly made for kids, although despite it being made for kids, there are quite some heavy moments. There are scenes where the Fire Lord, whatever, like literally burns people. Like you see them burning. So there are, you know, clearly it's made for kids, but there are some heavy moments. So as someone who watches tons of series and movies, I think this is a decent watch. I think fans of Avatar will enjoy it as long as they don't nitpick every single detail that's different to the anime. If you're going to do that, you're not going to enjoy it. If you just go in there accepting that this is a different interpretation of the anime, have a good time, enjoy the characters, enjoy the bending, and you know, just have a good time. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy it. And all I wanted to end it with is, I really feel like the team behind it had their heart in the right place with this. They can feel there's a lot of passion behind this show, just as there was a lot of passion behind the One Piece show, which also released on Netflix. So thumbs up for Netflix. They're doing a decent job, in my opinion, with regard to their anime adaptations. Now, Franco, we are very much looking forward to Three Body Problems, which will release in the coming weeks on Netflix. So excited for that one.
And just in time for Dune. Are you guys going to watch Dune Part 2? I'm going to go on Sunday at Embassy. And Andrea, when are you going?
I'm going on Friday. Excited for that. So, really excited. So next week will be our Dune episode.
So if any of our listeners, especially those living in Malta, because I don't think any viewers, so far we don't have any international viewers. If you want to come say hi,
we have quite a lot of international viewers, Franco.
Yes,
yes. Lots of Americans and lots of Canadians. But
most probably it's the Maltese diaspora that are listening. Nah, just joking. Nice. So if
by the way, Franco, my rating, I haven't given my rating. What's my rating? 3.5. I think I'll go with a 3.5 for Avatar The Last Airbender. I think a 3.5, which could possibly move up to a 4 when I think about it a little bit more. So yeah, had a good time watching Avatar The Last Airbender. Franco.
No, that's it. So any of you Americans or Canadians that are coming down to Malta, come say hi. We'd love to meet our friends. And always just leave a comment, like, subscribe. You can now follow Andrea, who's making a great job in keeping TikTok alive, doing a quick fire review.
Not a very great job this past week, though.
What obviously
I was really busy.
It's fine. But he's still making it a point of doing so. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Letterboxd. My name is Maltese Falcon 87. Andreas, what's yours?
Andrea Gravina, I think.
Andrea Gravina. Yeah, I complicate matters basically. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. See you next week, guys. See you next week, Andrea.
See you next week, guys. And with that, ciao.